Okay, so you were absent the day that we went over writing introduction and conclusion paragraphs. These papers should look familiar from your absent packet. There's also going to be one that's all pretty and color-coded like this, okay? We're going to start off, however, taking a look at this one. So if you remember a couple classes ago, we did the organizer on static and dynamic characters, and we talked about the difference between static and dynamic. So we're going to use that now, and it says in the novel The Giver by Lois Lowry, Joan is considered a dynamic character. Remember that dynamic, we said, meant that a character that changes, right? That doesn't stay the same. Some kind of personality or moral or value or idea shift happens within that character. So Jonas is considered dynamic. Explain how his change in perspective helps to develop the theme that knowledge is power. Notice, I am giving you the theme. You don't have to come up with it. Knowledge is power. This is my theme. Okay? And if you think about our book, that makes sense, doesn't it, right? The beginning of the book, Jonas doesn't know very much. He doesn't really need to know very much. He kind of blindly goes through life. And then as he gets to know the giver and he gets more knowledge and he learns more about the way things used to be, he gains more power to make more changes in the community. Okay? And it says use details from the novel to support your response. So in your response, we're going to describe how Jonas changes. We're going to explain how those changes develop the theme, which again, remember, is knowledge is power. So how do these changes show this knowledge is power? And use details from the novel to support our response. We're ultimately going to be writing 4 paragraphs. Okay? You're going to have an intro, 2 body, and a conclusion. So 4 paragraph essay total. Okay? So this is your introduction paragraph. Notice, let's zoom out a little bit. We've got 4 things that we need to have: a hook, a bridge, a summary, a thesis. So let's start up here with the hook. It's about a sentence. It's 1 sentence. It's going to grab the attention of the reader. Think about like a fishing hook, right? You go fishing, you put the hook down with the bait, and it hooks the fish, right? Grabs the fish, okay? Same concept here. Our hook is going to grab our reader's attention, okay? It's kind of like the bait in the hook, right? So we can do this in a number of ways. We could come up with a quote, go online and find a quote that fits our essay. We can come up with some kind of shocking statement that makes them want to read more. We can do an analogy, a metaphor, some kind of comparison, right? Between what we're going to be talking about and something maybe outside of the novel, okay? The next sentence is something called the bridge. This is where we're going to put our tag information. And remember, we said that tag is title, author, genre, right? And we're going to transition. We're going to kind of rephrase our question just a little bit, but we're going to also move ourselves into the next section, which is a summary, okay? No more than 3 sentences. We are not writing a 10-page summary here. Real down and dirty, quick. What was it about? You're giving necessary information. You might want to talk about who the character is, what's the big thing that they did, and what did they learn. Just real quick and dirty, couple sentences for someone who hasn't read the book. Okay, you have to assume that the person reading your essay has maybe not read The Giver. The last one is your thesis. Thesis is 1 sentence, and it just directly answers what the essay question is asking. So it's really, you're stating, what are you proving? What are you setting out to do? Okay? So let's take a look at that kind of colorful paper that I gave you. Okay, and I'm going to turn my camera. Let's take a look at that introduction. So if you see, I've got the hook. Remember, we said that grabs the reader's attention, right? And one of the ways is some kind of statement. So this one starts with, some things aren't always what they seem. That's my hook. Then I'm going to go into my bridge. And in my bridge, remember, I'm going to put in my tag information, and I'm going to transition into my summary. So I've got the short story, The Pod, by Maureen Crane, were Wartsky, there we go, is an interesting tale with a powerful message. And it's hard to see, but I've got my title, The Pod, my author, Maureen Crane Wartsky, and my genre, short story, all labeled. Then my summary. Please notice just visually, see how short it is? It's not 18 pages long, right? Okay. In fact, it is 3. The main character, Jesse, is feeling annoyed with his family and upset about his life after a car accident. Jesse takes a drive and finds a dolphin stranded at the shore of the beach. In the end, Jesse rescues the dolphin by helping it get back to the ocean and its family. Really quick, not anything major. And then my thesis. What am I going to prove? The dolphin represents Jesse and his struggles, which helps the reader understand the themes of perseverance and the importance of family. Okay, so I've got all 4 pieces. You can see them kind of color-coded. Okay, now I'm going to turn my camera again. Sorry. If we go back to our graphic organizers, let's go to our conclusion paragraph. Okay, so I've done my intro. I've got my body paragraphs, which are nothing more than paragraph responses. We've been writing those all year. Your body paragraphs are simply you writing paragraph responses. Okay, so I'm going to restate my thesis. The important thing here is it says fresh language. Do not just restate, meaning do not word for word go up to your intro, take out your thesis and paste it here. You need to reword this a little bit. Okay, keep it a little bit interesting. So what? Next sentence. What does any of this matter anyway? Why? Why is this important? Okay. And then what's my lingering? What am I going to leave my reader with? I need to make my reader kind of agree with me, right? At the end of my essay, I want them to be like, oh, she's right. Jonas was a dynamic character. He did learn that knowledge is power, right? Okay. So that's my lingering thought. I want to leave them agreeing with me. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our color-coded paper. I'm going to turn my camera again. Okay. So I've got my thesis. In conclusion, the symbolism of the dolphin and Jesse help the readers to gain insight on important life lessons. Notice, by the way, if I go up here, it's not exactly the same. My thesis is in purple up here, right? But those words in purple are not exactly the same as those words in yellow. Same idea, but I put it in different words. My so what is in green. Determination and family are things that help people overcome all obstacles. And my kicker is from saving dolphins to climbing mountains. Anything is possible when you put your mind to it and have a strong support system. Okay, so that's my conclusion. One thing to kind of point out here, if you notice the green and the blue are not terribly specific to the actual piece, right? They're sort of more general kind of life lesson conclusion pieces. Okay? So what we did in class was all of this. We talked about these different pieces, and then the kids went through and they highlighted. We also talked about evidence and explaining our evidence just to kind of put that back in our brains. But I've given you this as a reference. What you need to do is take your static and dynamic character paper that we filled out before break. And if I have it, it'll be in your absent packet. And you're going to do the organizer for the intro and the organizer for the conclusion of this essay. Okay? This is just an example. It's about dolphins. It has nothing to do with the giver. It's just an example. We're going to do our essay on this. How Jonas is a dynamic character and how his changing helps to develop the idea that knowledge is power. By develop, by the way, I mean that we understand it better. Helps us to understand it. Okay? You're just doing the intro and you're just doing the conclusion. Okay? If you have any questions, come see me 10th period. You can try to come down during a study hall. I can't promise you I'm always going to be here, but I'll try. And we'll see if we can figure it out. But I think you can try. I think you can do this. It's just going to take a little bit of work. Okay? All right. Bye.